Greeting. We are in June 23, 2024, and we are on Gpms.world North America representative meeting. And we have with us also Rick Jewers, that right now is in Romania, and also Megan from Australia, Francisco, Frank, and Serhi from Canada, and myself also, I'm living in Canada. Rick, I know that you are in intense work for Ascension, and this is extremely important, especially that it's a huge opportunity by November 2024 to be on the fifth dimension for the global consciousness of the people. So would you like please to speak more about what is happening right now and how the Ascension is doing? Thank you.
Thank you, Beatrice. And so I'll begin with this. Perhaps a few weeks or a month ago, Father said, at this rate that we're going with energetics creation and, of course, the ascension, that it is possible that we can achieve by November the full Gpms.world as our reality. So this is great news. It's not ascertained, but it needs to be understood for this message to come direct from Father as a distinct possibility, a tentative timing with this. So I was very pleased to hear that. Now, the overall ascension, what I do and what others do, that we work as a co-creator group at facilitating the worldwide energetic grid to support and sustain a new reality where there is not evil, darkness, there is not fear and negativity. And this is a huge divine accomplishment which is occurring. It is the ascension, what I call it, and of course there are other variations. Ones may say the Great Awakening, but it's all the same, what is occurring for the planet. And also you may say what's occurring within religion, in particular Christianity, with the rapture. This is the rapture as well. And also with some indigenous prophecies, this time was spoken about that it would come, that the new world would be here. And when you refer to Hopi prophecy, they give you that in the star people, if you will. But the star people are actually us as we advance into that state of being. So that prophecy, the Hopi prophecy, is correct. The eagle and the condor prophecy from South America, the Aborigine, and I believe, if I pronounce this correct, the Polynesian Maui people, Maori perhaps people as well, has this written in their beliefs from the past. So we are in this glorious time to say that. And so having said this, this is true, and anyone awakened knows that the world was not as it seems, and that there is something occurring in the least, and that there is a new world that we're transitioning into. And again, GPMS is this new world. So divinely, we had the full template for the new world, which is Gpms.world. It's here now, and it's being agreed upon by everyone that wants this new world, the heaven on earth scenario. So it is very real, it's very tangible, it's being done in a manner that is fully transparent to all worldwide. And it's also being done in what you would call the matrix way. It's being done in a lawful, technical, uh, uncontested manner by anything that is not in harmony with do no harm for humanity. So we have all of there are no loopholes in GPMS from the old system. It cannot substantiate nor justify any opposition uh, to GPMS or towards it, because it is the absolute, divine, concrete, all-inclusive plan, to keep it simple. So the ascension is ascertained. Many are going through their individual processes at your physical vessels are actually changing. They're becoming more crystalline as a base. They were carbon-based organisms, if you will. And carbon base is a 3 to 4D density, fourth dimensional density organism, meaning that it could not survive outside of the fourth dimension. In the reality of a 5D reality, it could not. And for most, it still cannot yet, but they're very rapidly going through the process to um, transition the organic vessels to be able to operate and function at a higher frequency. So this is happening. Many are oblivious to what's occurring with their physical vessels. However, it's all part of the process, and at some point, they come to know what is actually occurring. And every day we have more and more that are awakening to this truth, if you will, that indeed it's actually confirmed that an ascension is occurring, that one's physical vessels are changing, their energetics is changing, even their realities is changing. So what's occurring is more and more of an accrediting, validating base every day is happening, meaning the amount of ones that know the ascension is occurring is expanding. This number is getting bigger and bigger every day, and it assimilates the old reality, because as this knowing gets bigger and bigger, nothing deceitful can be hidden from anyone. And it's also not part of the new reality. So it's all part and parcel, designed in this manner to take humanity forward. So humanity needs the higher energetic, safe, free and abundant and joyous and peaceful place to be in. And this is Gpms.world. So I'd like to say it is the template, it is the guidelines, but I would not call it a prototype. And one of the reasons I would not call it a prototype is because it is the ultimate thing. It is not something to be tested. This is the very real reality that we are going into. It's already been constructed to the degree that it needs to be, and the guidelines are simple, and it's in the simplicity that you evolve humanity. And because the matrix is complex, it's designed that way, it's overstipulated, overregulated, and of course, their methods of monetary policy is so complicated and complex. Um, so, but that it was like that way for a reason, to protect the old capitalistic system, so that it would take years for ones to find out actually that it was fraudulent at its core. but that's no longer required because enough have awakened to the level to know that this entire system, the matrix, the capitalistic system, does not provide for humanity. At its very core, it still cannot be repaired to facilitate a fifth dimensional world which has divine qualities and attributes of the way that it functions and operates. So, having said this, it is why GPMS is the replacement system worldwide. I'll stop there. I rambled on long enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the explanation about this template. I'm saying all the time framework because there are so many supposed new constitution that pop up all the time in so many groups. And they are still keeping this constitution without understanding that practically they repeat the same mistake and they are still moving in circle and they remain in matrix. But they try to gather people and they cannot see yet the framework of GPMS to come and to end Gpms.world. So to end to the point, to end the waiting time and let Gpms.world to happen. So any rule, practically they are saying law, that there is no law, there is only one law, divine law, but they are still not able to understand and they started to deviate because they saw the artificial law or the matrix, so they started to understand and they moved towards an organic law where practically it's again a bunch of rules that they insert and they want to move as law, but this is still not possible. This is just an explanation of do not harm, but they are still not there to understand that the framework, the worldwide framework, needs to be based on universal principle and not on rules. Not any case can be found on the rules described, and there will be a very, very long list of the rules. When you come with the principle, everything is short. Any case has the solution inside. It's found inside of the universal principle. And after that, if the people needs more explanation, then this can be developed at the place where the people are asking for a period of time to understand what do not harm is and to be sure that do not harm cover everything. So because also the people were coming back and saying we do not need a law written because this is unwritten law. At the same time, they are saying the approval should be not on based on consent because you do not need to consent on website or paper. I do oppose to that because we just start to the beginning of letting the matrix outside, and many people never hear about universal natural law. So I truly believe that it's still the way to get out from the matrix. Yes, Rick.
Thank you, Beatrice. What I wish to say, we don't, what Beatrice just spoke about, if you will, is an observation and the evaluation of just some that are not in alignment yet with GPMS. So, this is a pertinent evaluation to also show where we're at now, why it's taking a little bit longer, because this is the resistance, but it's also the conscious ignorance yet. These ones don't know what they don't know. And this is a good quote from brother that was on, I think, our last one here, and I love it. See, they're oblivious yet, but it doesn't matter if these ones are oblivious. As I said before, more and more of them are awakening in higher consciousness every day. So the main focus again is what we keep putting out, that we have the full solution. It's the divine solution that is the remedy for any and every problem that humanity ever had. And it's all in one beautiful parcel and present. And it's a divine present. Having said this, the recent instruction from Father that actually just came in, I think last night or the other day, was that I had to put out in our contributors group, it was time to once again to get a head count on how many GPMS representatives and guardians that are ready to stand uh, together on an online panel, that we will do it with our phones or our computers, but we're going to have uh, a first online panel of all of the representatives of GPMS in different parts of the world. So, however many we have already. At this time, it's looking like it's over 20 representatives, which is very powerful and very good. However, Father's words are also, we have to construct it now. So in the near future, not a date on it, we will be having a an online panel presentation of Gpms.world, and we will be circulating this out worldwide to the extent where it can energetically go, to inform the rest of the people, but to also show the people that we are an organized panel that are equipped with all of the solutions, Gpms.world. And also at that time, we are calling more of our divine comrades, our brothers and sisters, to join us and to make this panel as big as possible as we continue forward. So it is an infinite number that this panel grows as we keep going forward with GPMS, because the way that things are divinely set up for all of your present countries and nations and areas worldwide, there is at least one representative. But what I wish to say, no, there is more than that. There is many. So as we progress forward, there will be more and more divine guardians, representatives that will step up and join this panel, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger as we go forward. So we have reached a point right at this time that we're able to do a conjoined, all of us together, online presentation panel of GPMS.world. And this will be in the near future. And there will be with this a sort of, for this online presentation, there will be a guideline script, for example, in somewhat a chronological order for the particulars, with the introduction of each on that panel, where they come from in the world, if you will, at least. So we need to introduce ourselves. The panel needs to be introduced to the world in this. And what we wish to do in this presentation, we will have a quick introduction of the participating panel members. And also with this, at least, we wish to keep it short, concise, and direct to the point of GPMS.world. So we will come together as a panel, and however, it is the most efficient way to construct about an hour-long meeting, not a meeting, a presentation is what I need to say, for the world. Then we keep putting that out. And as we put it out, it also begins to create more of a security for the people that might have been doubtful. So what we are doing is showing the identities, if you will, that are behind GPMS that are not even on our website yet, on an About Us section, which we are currently working on as well. So any guardians, representatives of GPMS, you are reminded to draw up about a one paragraph bio and a picture of you that will be put on our public Gpms.world website. And it goes into the About Us section. And so what we are doing is with this for the first time ever in GPMS, we are presenting Gpms.world as an organized panel and gathering of the representatives we have thus far. And as I said, it grows as we continue forward. So it's important for the people to see that there is the organized team there. And it is important for the people to see the higher consciousness with this as well. And what it does, it instills in the people more of a sense of security. And importantly, it instills trust in them as well, to see all of us speaking publicly out there to the world and presenting the choice of Gpms.world. If I may just continue with a couple more particulars I had written down because they are connected. So we have recently reached 157,000 agreements, consents, votes for the Gpms.world. Now, this is a great, huge number. When you look at, I don't know what it would be on the current list of by population, the nations in the world. But one thing what I can say is that we are not at the bottom. The Vatican is actually the smallest population as a nation in the world. We are probably 17 or so above that. So, we are with the Caracas Islands or Bermuda and these places. We are actually, I think, have more populated into GPMS than these individual nations. But Gpms.world is a huge universal nation that will be worldwide. And again, with with GPMS, and I'm putting quote monetary policy unquote, because it's unlimited, it's fair, and so many other things that provides full comfort for humanity. Nothing else can compare with it as well. So there is no contest, meaning that everyone does choose Gpms.world as we go forward. But what I need to also say, with this huge amount of support we have now. So if you look at some of the numbers, perhaps about a week or 10 days ago, we were at 124,000, I believe. So we have risen by about 35,000 just in a week. So this is a substantial increase, if you will. As you can see, percentage wise, perhaps 30%, or it's more than that, maybe 35%, 30% increase in just 1 week. So this is an exponential increase when you compare it to the preceding past few years. So what we have seen, if you will, the curve, if you can see me, we were gradually growing with GPMS like this, but then in the last week, it widened out because of this huge block that come in. And this is not the only huge block. Again, when we look at the Philippines, to our knowledge, there are millions there to come in. It's getting these ones aligned. And also all around the world, not just the Philippines, even though Philippines are doing the amazing job at being the way shower for the rest of the world. And, one of the reasons with the Philippines, they have gone through all of the necessary experiences to know that nothing else works. So there's so many souls, people there that knows nothing else works because they tried it. They tried it with constitutions, with martial law, with prosperity funds. All of these things have been tried before the other countries. So they know it. They had the experience. It doesn't work. And with any constitution worldwide, what I simply say, if your old constitutions would have worked, you would not be in this situation today. So simply this says, no, nothing from the past works. Don't waste time on it. Throw it away. We clean the slate and we do now what works for all. So don't get caught up in anything from the past. None of it worked. And this is also the reason why Gpms.world is here, the full replacement system, because none of that from the past worked. We are advancing, we are not going back. So don't waste your time with all of these old things, is what I say, which is truth. But each one needs to come to that realization themselves, like our Philippines brothers and sisters that have tried everything, if you will, from the old to try to do something in the old, but they have discovered through all of their experiences, no, it's not the way. Nothing works. Gpms.world is the way. So we have began to enter on our website blocks of consents because we have what you will call also missionaries out in the field gathering consents, if they may be from organizations, orphanages, or what have you. But if you take a organization, they usually have a spokesperson or one representing them that trust. Let's say if it's 100,000 in this organization, they have the 100,000 have entrusted at least one to speak for them. So having said this, if and when this one says, all right, for our organization, it's time to join Gpms.world, all we need is just for this one to give us the list and we can input that within minutes. We have done, it might be in less than a minute, we have entered 7,000 consents. This is how quick we can do this now. So our website is set up to accommodate hundreds of thousands, even a million in perhaps a day or an hour. I had asked, I think in about an hour, probably you can put 1 million consents. So you can see how quick this can go as well. And so as a result of this, as we pick up momentum with the amount of agreements collected, we're now at 157,000. This could go to 1 million overnight. I've always said this, in the blink of an eye, because there are certain things that transpire uh, that aligns ones with GPMS, and we're ready now for the huge numbers to come in. And we've been doing this over the last week. Just a couple guardians have been entering, incrementally some of these huge blocks, and it only takes a few minutes to do it. So we're all ready for the huge numbers, and the ones that wish to join us together under the GPMS full solution. And and what else do I have down there? Also, online and connected to this, what I wish to say is Brother Wandera Regan from Uganda, which is doing an amazing job there in Uganda. He has been gathering together and uniting orphanages because there are so many orphans in Uganda and the difficulties with food and all of the dystopia from the old society. What it has created is many children without parents, without homes, and without food. So what Brother Wanderer and of course other divine ones like Beatrice and all of us have in some way assisted with this. But Brother Wanderer is uniting the orphanages under the banner of Gpms.world, under the umbrella of it, bringing the orphanages all together for the first time ever, to my knowledge, on the planet as a united team that is also part of Gpms.world. But what this also does, it once the unification of the orphanages in Uganda, but not only Uganda, all around the world, once this unification comes, it brings huge numbers as well with it when it begins more worldwide. I should say it already has begun, but when it becomes more noticeable. For example, we've begun to see in Uganda the consent beginning to increase. Although one may say it's a small increase, what I need to say, never underestimate the strength in numbers and what one can add. So it's always important to know this, that we are all powerful. And when you stand in your divine law, it means much more. The numbers cannot be compared against old human numbers, if you will. It's much more expansive and extensive than that. Um, So Wanderer is doing a great job. He has a list he had sent me last night comprised of the individual uh, orphanages, a list that are part of this unity. Now, this is a great vehicle as well and a attribute of GPMS because also with this, if you will, a guidelines have been made and let's say it has been tested with the best and proper and most efficient and proficient ways to do this. So a model, if you will, has been at least created for Africa by Wanderer by giving the simplistic way of how to unite ones quickly and to eliminate in the past through his trial and error to eliminate any obstacles out of that process so we can have more of a rapid unification. And of course, every time that we unite more and more, one, as I said, that may come into GPMS, you may see one number, you might see in Armenia, for example, one come in, but don't underestimate that because that one can do miraculous things and also can be connected to millions that can spark a catalytic event within GPMS where the numbers that come in can be huge. So never underestimate the power of even one. And we know that two, where two or more gathering, this is a truth that the energy that is created is not equal to two, it's equal to many where two gather. And also, you are connected to the abstract forces of the supernatural prime creator, mother and father as well. So we have everything all inclusive, and it's a very powerful divine uplifting, if you will. Um, so I wanted to mention that about Wander. That's beautiful. One more little thing, and then I will stop. So what I had to do on Facebook, if you will, I was putting out GPMS post to the effect of our considerable numbers we had just reached. Upon doing that, Facebook, when I clicked to post, as soon as I did, Facebook come on, spam. We removed your post, and it didn't even get on. So what I did is I did it again. And when I did it again, they removed it before it got on. So then I looked at the picture, the photo I had, and I shortened it up a little bit. But then I went again, and the next time I put it in some of our groups on Facebook. And to my knowledge, yes, and then it stayed. But the important thing about this is that during what I did next, and I put that post up on Facebook, is I went and I checked with an accredited spam detector for online material, if you will. So with any spammers or scammers, I wanted to get the Gpms.world rating. And what I did find is that it has a very, they call it a medium, but a very high validating, vetted score, if you will, meaning that the spam detectors are recognizing it as value. It has a very high trusted score. Now, this comes in handy for ones to know this, because if there is any social media that tries to say that this is spam, they cannot justifiably say it, because we have this bit of supporting evidence, and this is not from just one spam detector site. The spam detectors online are in partnership and agreement with so many other companies as well, and they all join their results together. And that makes this, what I'm speaking about, even so more greater. So it's not just one spam detector of the website that is saying this. This is the result of many agreeing, and it's giving us I'd like to say, a high rank of validity on our website. So this becomes important because also none of your servers as well can, nor if they do, they should not be identifying the GPMS website as a spam or a potential risk, if you will. And if any incurs any of that, whoever is saying it, if it's Facebook, social media saying it's spam, you just tell them, no, it is not. And you can also say to the social media or to the servers, if you will, if you have that contact, that no, here is supporting evidence that it is not. And because you have not done your due diligence and being prudent and substantiating your judgment and your evaluation of GPMS.world, what you have done is also legally, you have denied ones of due process and have made a false judgment, which becomes a serious, let's say, a serious judgment, because it's false. It's not based on any merit. And then this makes it look like it's intentional. Now, very quickly and simply and easily, if I had wanted to contest and get involved into any legal justification of GPMS.world in any of its content that we put out or any of its presentation, believe me, I could. And there could be very big lawsuits that would be won against social media and all of these, if you will, because it could be constructed in a way in court that it would become a no contest, meaning that a Facebook, if you will, a could not provide any merit for a case. So then what happens is there is no contest, and where, let's say, Facebook just got to pay what we ask, an out-of-court settlement because they cannot, prepare any case that would justify their actions. But we don't get involved in that, especially because those are legalities from the old. But what I can say is their entire legal system, we can use it totally against them. I know how to do it, but I don't waste time on this because it becomes a distraction. And the way their legal system is designed is to prolong things as well. And we don't want to get into that. We keep our focus on the lawful structure of GPMS. But at times, it's good to inform others because then it puts blocks up to any of the censoring and false and fraudulent devaluation by the darkness. So we show them when we need to that we're not any toy, that we are the real thing, we are the absolute law. And if they continue to try to oppose that, very quickly we put what you would call pie on their face and make them look much more sillier. But we don't do that as well because our goal and our intent is to free humanity and to keep our focus on that and just implode their system that was controlling humanity by building a system where they don't control humanity and it's all done. So, there are the godsends, which are very real and true, that had come up in this respect, to support and to validate a very substantial supporting justification if any more of these attempts towards discrediting GPMS may arise. So I again take this opportunity just to inform on a little bit more. Of course, I didn't get into the legal technicalities of how to construct it and how to do it. I just give a general sense to let all of you know, whoever watches this, yes, we know this. This was part of my divine preparation to be able to know what the old legal system was and to also fully guarantee the lawful system of GPMS. So it was part of my knowledge, and I'm just sharing a little bit through what I'm purveying here, that I do know all of this, meaning that I am not a scam, and this is not a scam, and that I am I am totally genuine and authentic in my divinity, and this is why we have the conviction and knowing that GPMS is very real and is coming to fruition. I'll stop there. Thank you. I need to have a cigarette after that. And by the way, this is organic tobacco, and many indigenous peoples know the spirit connection, at least with organic ceremonial tobacco to spirit and creator, which is good. So it's actually beneficial. But do not, what I say is, well, it's your choice, but it's better to have organic tobacco than chemical cigarettes bought in a store. And your own government will tell you this, don't smoke these cigarettes. They're full of 5,000 chemicals. But you will go and you will get your organic cigarettes that, yes, they have chemicals, but some of them or all of the chemicals that they have are natural chemicals. So there is a difference with this. But thank you.
So we have with us right now Emily from the United States. And I would like also to say that in Australia, for Megan, it's about probably 4 a.m. in the morning. But she's still here with us. Thank you so much. Hi, Emily. Would you like please to add something? What happened in the last month, maybe in the United States, and what it is the people understanding right now?
Well, I mean, my update from the United States is that it's still an absolute psychological warfare to control the people and to manipulate their consciousness into believing that, you know, the government is their answer or the church has the answer, or there's still so many aspects that the people of the United States are just dealing with. And it's really, really, really been really challenging here to balance living in the old and being in the new, and making sure that I am even survive. People in America are in survival. The inflation rates are through the roof. Nobody can afford to eat. Nobody can afford to pay their rent. Nobody can afford to buy their children the things that their children need. It's still a freaking struggle over here. And the as far as the Gpms.world, man, I pretty much got taken off the road. You know, I got realigned and redirected to be more in myself and rest, because I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but I've been doing this work a long time, a really, really long time. And, I'm just at a place where, man, I just don't have a whole lot more to give on a spiritual level. My time it's time for me to start receiving. And that's just where I am. I've given and given and given and given. And unfortunately, I can't save people. I can't get people to change. I can't make people take the information and do anything with it. And so, I just have to sit back in my vibration and in my peace and know that the work that has been done, people will eventually get the point. They have to be the ones that do it. I can't sit here and be the only one in the United States doing this work to build the unity and to build all come together. And so when people are ready to come together, I'm here. I've been here all along. Don't shoot the messenger, but it has been such a challenge to help Americans see just how evil they are, that their continual perpetuation of the trauma against the other people of the world is outright wrong. And it is time for that they just acknowledge it. They need to acknowledge that they are part of something very dark and very corrupt. That's the first step. They have to acknowledge it. And until they do, I don't know what's going to happen to them. I'm being honest. You have to acknowledge that you're perpetuating harm to another human being before you can actually make the changes that you need to make to stop doing that. And people are still out there going to work every day, holding up the freaking legal system that has no authority over me. And when I tell them that, then they're freaked out. They're freaked out. And I'm like, no, I'm really literally telling you, I'm sovereign spirit here. I have a soul. And the government has no authority at all over any of this. And they panic. They freaking panic. But I don't know any other way to say it. So I've been forced to go into myself and figure out if there's a new way that I can do something new, something different, and something better, because that's the only feedback I keep getting from people in the United States is, Emily, you're doing it wrong. And then I get completely frustrated. I'm like, okay, well, how are you doing it? I'm doing it wrong. How are you doing it? Please, I would be so willing to sit down and listen to how you would do it. How is it going to work? If the way I'm doing it doesn't work, how is it going to work? You know what I mean, Beatrice? It feels like it's still a war zone over here. That's what it feels like in America. People are still fighting to survive, still manipulating each other to take from each other and to use people to create narratives. And I'm just completely over it. I am. I'm so tired. I wish I had better to report, but look at the numbers on the website. America has 3,690 souls that are over here doing this work. It has not really changed over here in the last month or so. People's egos still want to be in control. They still want to dictate and govern other people, and nobody has the right to do that. So that's my report from the US, man. That's it. I don't have anything else to freaking offer. It's a challenge. I drop these little cards. I make these little cards and I go into town and I spread them all over town, and I hope that somebody gets one and wants to be a part of it, because that's all I've got. Thank you for asking me to share. Thank you for me being here. And I look so forward to this giant panel Rick is speaking of, because the people, in fact, do lack trust. But it's sad because that's a lack within themselves. You know, yeah, you're not trusting me because of whatever you have going on in you. You're not believing in me because of your own issues. So I just move on to the next person and give them the solution. And I think, you know, we're all in a movie. So yesterday I was going somewhere and I saw this group of children walking down the road, and I stopped. I hit the brakes and I just shouted, because it was just my reaction. I just shouted. I was like, have you guys heard about the people all over the world that created money that we could share with everybody? And I shouted the website as loud as I could. And they were like, thank you, man. You know, that's, I feel like I'm in some weird flow that I'm just doing what I can.
Yes, on my side, a little bit, I experience a lot of symptoms from the ascension, especially on the hand and also the feet. And I would like also to see that it is a little bit true that the people are more on the inside of the actual system, like trying to bring others on the investment, but they cannot see that we can print the money. So it's this news is coming and shocks somebody. How can we print the money and how can this be real? It's just simple like that. Don't care about the people that they are still working for the government, because the good ones from there will come will come with us, with the people in the future, because we bring the new system up. So and others that they are not that they are still upholding the system, they will have not other choice, because anyway the people are coming and the number increase. So the number that increase from other countries, because we know that we have not countries, we know that we have no borders, from other areas in the world, this has already a sound. So when the people, they receive the information about Gpms.world, and they start to hear again about Gpms.world, when they verify the website to see the number, they see all the time another number that increase. So this is substantial and this is amazing. What can I say also from the United States for the first time? They're considered it Supreme Court, that is the federal one in the United States, right now started to allow damages for the vaccinated people. Everything that it's good, but it's not good enough, because on the direction that they started, it's not about all the people that they will have the damage. And we know that the new technology, it's not here yet. And in reality, it's not about the money, it's about the new technology that can save their life. So right now, if they receive the money, unfortunately, yes, this could be good, and it is good, but it's not enough. So for all the people that they want to save others, to come with us, with Gpms.world, and to start the new system, that finally we are able to bring the new technology, because the new technology with Gpms.world, it's about to be free, completely free. So everybody will have access. It's not about another scheme pyramid system with artificial law, where only some of the people will have access. It's about unlimited money with Gpms.org, so the money will be not a problem, not at all. And yes, we print the money. We are the value, we print the money. It's not about gold and silver, because right now I saw also the BRICS, what they try to do with the BRICS and everything. It's not about the leader of this world, that they may remain necessary on the new world, recognized as the people speaking for the people in general. So the leader for the actual world, in reality, there will be not leader. Many of them, there will be not leader at all. And the leadership anyway in Gpms.org is recognized as someone that has enough knowledge about universal natural law and can spread the model Gpms.org. So it's very, very different what the leadership means inside of self-determination versus the pyramid scheme. So as all the metrics that they want to remove also via other leaders that they want to implement and something else, this is still not enough. This is still not coming in the fifth dimension. So it's still part of the third, fourth dimension. So the people needs to concentrate via Gpms.org because only Gpms.org model is about the future.
Hi, I'm gonna have to go soon, but glad to hear what Rick's presentation and what everybody, Emily and everybody's had to say. I just want to maybe what I feel like I've seen the last little while. I've followed some other, kind of freedom groups and things, and a lot of talk about the QFS and all that kind of stuff. And I see a lot more questions with that lately, and a lot of people like almost calling it out as like, why is nothing happening? And like a lot of what Rick said in the past is like, if this was meant to be good, like it would have happened, or it could have happened already. And there's a big delay. It's like a carrot and a stick, just dragging people into complacency to wait for something else. So my thoughts were like, good to hear that this talk of a panel and get more people seen and can get out ahead of and challenging the other false narratives a little more in a bigger public light kind of thing. And I think it might attract more people and be in describing it and like show the new monetary system that GPMS is about, because there's a lot of groups I see out there talking about Sescovite trust and banking fraud and all this kind of stuff, and no access to it. So a lot of talk and how does it all work in questions, and the GPMS can be a place to give answers, and a clear answer and a simple way to move forward, I think. So just what I felt lately. So thanks.
Yeah, so last time when I spoke with somebody from the White Hats about QFS, it was about borders inserted on the financial system that practically would you not let you to pass to cross the border, because nothing that you'll have with you can be working in other area. So practically everything will be not active. So what I would like to say, it's a little bit about their system, what they recognize as criminal, and also the verification has to be to other level, not to come with the situation that practically this false border prevents peaceful parents to see their children. So we have had enough of the actual system, judgment and situation. And this is practically also one of the reasons that many people are organically involved also on changing the world, because they saw that it's not possible to move forward. It's about a huge cleanup, worldwide cleanup. Many things has to be removed. The darkness was here on the earth and many situations appear. But finally, we hope that this has an end, probably towards November 2024. And I would like to say that also QFS, in order to be accepted by Gpms.org, probably will need some modifications. So this will be a question if QFS is accepted or not by Gpms.world. It's not about my judgment. It's about that many people should come to a round table and to say yes or no. So the QFS could run maybe for a while, even that will be fully implemented, but the QFS, as I know with borders, this will be not the situation that will move forward. And because somebody said from inside of that work on the QFS, especially on these borders, they said, no, Beatrice, we need a verification for the people to be in place. The verification has to come to other level to be in place and to work in a different way. Not to come with the precise supposedly border that we have today. Yes, Rick.
Thank you, Beatrice. What I need to say, these things about the QFS and what have you, they do not come to fruition, and they cannot, because GPMS is something higher that is already on the planet. So none of that occurs, is what I need to say, from what is presented from the other narratives out there. GPMS, if you will, is part of that ideology of an equilateral, equal system with GPMS, but with QFS. But the QFS discriminates, and this is a problem. It's not godlike the moment that it discriminates, and also its other attributes based on the lower dimensional thought process of a gold-backed currency or what have you. Now, these are things that robs the individual from their value, and also it cannot occur because GPMS at the present time is the most powerful vehicle of reality upon the planet. It is the divine superiority that will not allow for anything lesser than absolute truth to exist. If you look at a QFS narrative, it has the bankers, if you will, in control, which are actually part of the dark capitalist structure, and they are part of the matrix. And anything that you mention with gold-backed currency or a bank or what have you, that is the old system. It cannot work. And if ones tend to put their focus there on believing that, what they do is they prolong the inevitable of Gpms.world. So I'll go back to explain the same with the Philippines. The Philippines brothers and sisters haven't trusted all of these things like Nasera, Jacera, prosperity funds, and all of these things they were told. But the Philippines brothers and sisters are not fools. Many can be fooled perhaps a few times, or let's say many can be fooled thousands of times, but there are also the ones that can only be fooled a few times before they know the truth. And I need to say the Philippines, because of their experience, they know the truth. They're not being fooled any longer by these false narratives that leaves the problem still in control. Everyone needs to understand that there's a spiritual battle going on here, that there is the evil and the dark resistance, the remnants of it. And what they do is they concoct various narratives to try to lure and entice ones into believing these narratives that robs the individual from their power so that the darkness maintains a control. So none of these things with what you label the QFS cannot go forward. That's been manipulated, limited, and diminished the moment that they began to discriminate with that narrative, and also needed to bring in a gold-backed system which robs ones of their value. So very quickly, it cannot come into creation because GPMS is already being created. And there is no conflict in with it because, again, GPMS is the absolute. There will not be any BRICS or QFS solution to accommodate the people. If you evaluate everything worldwide right now, right in this moment, and you evaluate when the QFS and these BRICS and all of this, when it began, and with the BRICS, that began 20 years ago. So if the BRICS was the solution, and this goes into what Frank was saying, why is things totally worse? It's the hardest in the world now than ever. If the BRICS was the good thing, then we should have been in the good world. Over the last, let's say, several years with the QFS, if that was the real thing and that the bankers and the white hats were the good guys, and if they were able to do this, why do you see all of this increasing hardship, especially in the US? This simply tells you that no, these false narratives are exactly what I say they are. They're false narratives. They cannot do nor provide for the people because there is no intent for the betterment for the people in there. It is a guise, it is a deception. And I need to make this very clear that that's what it is. I know it, others know it, and more every day are knowing it as they raise in their consciousness to be able to evaluate these false narratives, these concepts, and how what it is designed to do is to keep the old controllers, the bankers and governments in power at dishing out the money. So they say, all right, you want this, we'll give you a little bit more money, but we stay in control. But the problem with this is that the money that they create, they might give you more money. They still control it and own it, and they could take it all back in the heartbeat from you. Everyone needs to realize that most of the world has gone cashless at this time. There's very little physical money in the world, and it's been constantly decreasing in the last 3 years as well. The banks are instructed as physical currency comes in to the best of their ability to say it's too old to recirculate or to take it out of circulation. Because again, once the bank, if it was to work, once the bankers and the darkness with a QFS, if you will, narrative, and where everyone is cashless, they have the full control over everyone. So the problem is who owns and who controls the money and the internet in the world. And it is the bankers, and then it is the governments, which is the actual evil and the darkness. So if ones take a buyout, if you will, if they sell their soul for whatever it may be, the darkness still controls them. This is why GPMS says no, all of the people together as one takes the rightful and lawful ownership and control of the worldwide internet and the banking, the routing, financial routing system is what we're going to utilize to disperse the funds worldwide. And by doing this, it takes the power away from the banks and the governments. And also, what it does, it takes away any personal incentive to gain in the GPMS world because everyone is equal. There is no incentive to do wrong, to be selfish, to have personal gain because everyone has more than enough and are equal with this basis, and they cannot be bought nor controlled. So if you leave at the helm any of the BRIC incompetent leaders, is what they are, they're lower consciousness, they're incompetent at being in the full people's and public's interest for the number one reason: money is created unlimitedly, and where they are still supporting a limited supply of money and resources on the world, they are incompetent. And what they are is part of the problem, all of these leaders. And they are incompetent to such a degree that they cannot represent the public's interests genuinely, because GPMS is already here. If there is within this old system any good brick leaders, if they are a competent leader and if they are for the people, they would recognize instantly the power and the absolute value of GPMS, not only for themselves, but for all of the people they represent. So again, I need to make this very clear that these are limited beliefs, but they're also false narratives. And this goes to what Frank said, to keep one's in complacency, to not take any action forward other than to support the false narratives, where the false narratives are part of the problem. They're not part of the solution. They're part of the problem because they are falsities that were created by the darkness, while the darkness carries on their other agenda, keep one's occupied with false hope. These are the political games that are played to always make people think that they have someone representing them while they do not, and to buy time for the dark agenda. And this is the real truth of the matter. But again, with the levels of consciousness, it's difficult. See, when ones don't know that actual evil exists, they just think that in governments, these are bad people or stupid people. But no, they're not stupid. They're actually intelligent because they're pulling a huge scam on the people, and that is their intention. And once you awaken far enough, you see what their underlying intent and agenda actually is. So again, with Gpms.world, it is a divine vehicle, but it is common sense and it is in the full public's interest. So if you see any leader worldwide rejecting that, it shows. Or also, if you don't see any worldwide leaders supporting and condoning GPMS, it also exposes and reveals what they are. And that is not in the public's interest, is what they are. They are serving an ulterior agenda and motive because they have to be. They cannot rationalize or justify their way out of the circumstance or situation when there is the obvious logical choice of GPMS in front of their face. They cannot create an excuse that it cannot be done because it is the way the old system is done. They create money out of thin air, but they keep control of it. But I was I got a couple things I wrote down. What I need to say, Gpms.world is the only bona fide, genuine movement by the people worldwide that is taking any action for the people. Nothing else is doing it. We are the only movement that is actually lawfully ratifying an agreement. We had the full strategy, we had the full direction, we had the full guidelines, we had the full goal. We have everything complete. Plus, we are physically, materially ratifying this new world into existence and into law. Nothing else worldwide, no other movement is doing this. GPMS is the only one. Now, you may say, you may say that there's individual sovereign groups attempting to do things, but as you said earlier, Beatrice, they don't know yet what they don't know. And what it is with that ignorance, one of the things they don't know is that everything needs to be done worldwide at once. It cannot be done in any country or any area or any region, because the problem is worldwide with the evil network. So you cannot do it in one place. What you have to do is what we're lawfully doing, collecting the majority vote worldwide that overpowers that evil worldwide corruption. At this point, with I got to go plug the phone in. With the Balkans in Europe here, the Balkan countries, Croatia, Montenegro, the couple Bosnia, these few countries just the other day had a huge power outage here in Europe. Now, what I wish to say, had 3 years ago the world been in the GPMS world, all electricity is free. It's upgraded with the most advanced technology, that it doesn't matter what happens. There is never a power outage. And what I'm bringing up about this is that, you'll see with their excuses, if you will, that they said overheating in their electrical grid and what have you. But again, what I say, where GPMS delivers unlimited money and resource, all of these power grids plus the new technology are put for everyone on the planet that they don't collapse. So when ones need air conditioners, the sky is the limit to energy. It's not limited any longer. So what I need to say, these sort of things, and especially in India, with these power grids in South Africa or all of Africa, it's the same thing. Instantly, we access the full, with Gpms.world, instantly upon implementation, the full absolute resources are delivered to any and all areas that needs these instant upgrades to the electrical grid in the public's interest worldwide, not on an individual nation basis. It's worldwide that it's done for everyone. And of course, also the free energy devices and free technology is also delivered, plus some other beautiful technologies that are very efficient at producing energy. So you take out your old nuclear reactors are no longer needed, your old coal firing, fossil fuel, electrical providers, if you will. Even with some of the dams, with this, the waterways cannot be obstructed any longer. It causes too much tension, but we have the replacement systems that we allow nature to flow where it must flow. What else? Very quickly, I say this quickly. In Denmark, so they did a recent study at one of the sperm banks, if you will, on motility and fertility. The study that just come out, I believe, since 2023, is that the masculine sperm motility, its ability to fertilize eggs, has decreased by 20%. It was increasing prior to that. I need to bring this up because it's also connected to the depopulation mode that the world has gone into the first time since the Black Plague around 1350, if you will. That is how serious of a situation the world currently is in. And also there are compounded medical effects as well that is exponentially contributing to the depopulation worldwide. and I need to bring this up because it is a real, evidence, documented, true factor that ones need to consider as well. So if you think that there is no evil or darkness left in this world, and if you think there are actually good bankers with a QFS or white hats out there, we should not be experiencing these lesser things. And we should not be experiencing, again, with the US, to my knowledge, I have no backing evidence yet, but I have been told that about 20% of the US workforce is disabled to some point. That's a staggering figure with over 64 million. But this was a month or two ago, so it's quite possible it's higher now. And also, in line with what Frank said, I have in the past, but I'm contemplating perhaps Lee and I or some other guardians doing a video where we have point form the most important problems on the planet. So we have point form on one side, all of the problems, and on point form on the other side, all of the solutions for each problem, to show how it is all inclusive and GPMS is all inclusive and extensive, that it corrects, remedies any and every problem that the world as a whole has incurred in the past and even now. And this also, should be a logical, substantial wake-up call for any that are doubting and still skeptical of the full divine prowess and ability of Gpms.world as the only and ultimate replacement system. Thank you.
Yes, Megan, you were before Emily. Yes, Megan.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got a couple of things I want to say. And firstly, just thank you, all of you. I really appreciate you and what you're doing.
Yeah, it's Megan, it's also the microphone.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, so probably you'd need to speak a little bit louder.
Okay, so
Thank you.
let's get it here. Yeah, I really appreciate all of you and everyone who's already seen GPMS and agreed. I'm so grateful. I believe that it's all about consciousness, and it's our consciousness that is creating basically a way through, a way out of the bubble we were stuck in. Yeah, so I'm really looking at that, and I'm hearing what my sister said there about people are so in survival mode. That's what I'm seeing here too. We've got really terrible housing stress. We've got, the government doing all the digitization of land titles and all of that. So people are getting very scared and having to look for answers. So in a way, it's a natural process, a birthing kind of process. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of isolation still. So I know that what's happening in my little world, but a lot of people are doing their best in all of their worlds around this land and everywhere. And that gives me courage and hope as well, because I know that people are working really hard, but we just can't see it yet. What you said about principles, that's what guides me too. That's the core, that's the cause, the causal level of this reality that we create together, and we do co-create it. That's just the fact. So we're learning how to co-create it more consciously. And Yeah, so I think that, yes, I'm not too worried really about the people that seem to have no idea yet. I know that people are under pressure. Everyone's under pressure because that's the nature of this process, which is happening. And I want to tell you about this movement that's happening here in Australia, because well, what the land that's been called Australia for a couple of hundred years. We have people here that have been here for thousands and thousands of years. Apparently more than 60,000 years. It's a long time. And there were over 350 nations originally before colonization. And so I think what's happening here is we are healing that. We are having to heal that reality that we've had to live with, this strange dilemma all our lives of how this was done in a wrong way. You know, that we got born here into a place which was a war zone. And I suppose that could be said of anywhere on the planet, because the law has been war-like. It's been not the law of peace. There's a movement here at the moment which is called Namdaka Dalai Australis, and it's coming from this the original peoples, and it's coming from prophecy. I can't tell you all of it, it's too much, but it's also based on do no harm. That's the core of it. So it's giving people a way out. It looks like it's involving common law as well, but it's involving the LORE of the land here as its very fundamental basis, and asking people to come, and I guess come with some humility that the people before knew how to run things in peace, and whatever we do or don't know about the past, you know, that we have clearly not done a good job of being healthy and living well and taking care of each other or the land. So this is an offering that they've created with a lot of law, like law that we've known. That knowledge is there, and they're making courts and doing all of that sort of stuff. But I'm excited because they've got the exact same core principle of do no harm, and I believe that people will see it more easily at first than GPMS. So I'm seeing it as another door to help people through. And that's how I keep seeing it, like going through a door where people never imagined there could be a door. You know, I was told, well, it's just the way it is. You know, there's people starving there. There's people having a war there. And I didn't like that answer, but it's taken me my whole life to sort of see the reality that it's just that agreement. And I've also, having studied things like healing of the psyche, it's taken a while for it to sink into the point that we've sort of been directed to look at people as being unwell, individuals. But the key that we need to really and are grasping now is that it's our relationships that determines our health and well-being on this planet. And it's having the right relationships of do no harm, that agreement to do no harm, that is taking us up to the next level. And when you hold that principle, it doesn't matter if you don't know all the answers yet, you know, whether this is something to do with you and your neighbor, or, you know, a whole you know, heritage and history and another people. If you stick to the principle of do no harm, together we have we can find the answers. So I'm totally confident that this is the correct track, that it's the right track, that it is happening. I'm confident that it can happen in November, by November. And I also am confident that one person's consciousness is very powerful, even if you're not talking to lots of people. If you keep bringing to earth your awareness of that hole in the bubble, you know, the Truman Show movie where they made he lived in a bubble basically. Well, if you keep connecting to the divine consciousness, the divine plan, and just keep bringing it back every time you get knocked off that path, or you get upset by what's coming at you, I'm believing and seeing evidence that this is what it takes. And about the QFS as well, that anything that's telling you to give your power away to other people is not in alignment with the divine plan, which is that everyone is divine and everyone can connect to their spiritual awareness and their intuition and love in their own heart. So I believe this has happened partly, at least, for our own development and abdicating responsibility for our own lives, abdicating our own authority. And I don't mean that authority in an egoic, lower, selfish way, but to know what's wrong or right and to know what we each need to do about that. That's been the problem. So if it feels scary and it feels difficult, but it feels like it's the right thing to do, that's what we should each be doing, in my opinion. And yeah. So yeah, I wanted to say those things, and also just to let you know that I think that the movement that I'm seeing in Australia is beautiful and in alignment, and it's coming from a long line of wisdom. And I'm talking with them and working with them as well, and I will be talking to them more about GPMS. So maybe you guys can talk sometime as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Megan. And I hope that we may see more people from Australia, especially also from the group that you mentioned before. And we know that it's not only a group, it's a high consciousness. If they are ready, they are involved in do not harm. So they are very welcome, and they can come anytime. Then, as Rick said before, and I'm saying also, the meetings should not be planned as to a specific date. Should be also planned depending on what happens. So if many people are coming from there, then we'll have a Gpms.world meeting. Thank you so much. Yes, Emily?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's here today. And, I was just sitting here thinking about my experiences in the last month, being around new people and familiar people. And, their guidance, the people that I'm around, their guidance to me was, Emily, you should be able to file for disability for some sort of psychological trauma or something. There's something you can file for disability with the government. And I was told personally by someone that I'm too honest. And that's why I keep staying in these cycles of struggles, because I won't lie. This is my experience. They're suggesting that I go and declare, that I'm somehow mentally insane, or that I'm hurt in some way, or that there's something wrong with me. And I sometimes I just sit back and I laugh, because I am the divine mother creator here to advance the human consciousness into the future. And all of these threats that I receive from people all over the place. And I've really been digging into myself, and I see where people project their fears at me all the time, like, boom, It just comes in hot, man. And I'm like, wow, oh my God. No, that has nothing to do with me. And those fears they don't even belong in my energy or my aura, because I truly do have my own divine purpose and my own divine mission. And I am divinely placed in the United States to be that anchor of love and higher consciousness for the people around me. And it is extremely, extremely challenging to continue to go through these waves with people, because they're like presenting all of these temporary solutions. And I'm like, just can we just slow down? Because I gave us all the solution years ago. And you're asking me to continue in a loop and perpetuate more abuse and psychological manipulation of my consciousness. And as a sovereign being, I get to choose what I create for my own life, period. And I created the Gpms.world with Rick. The moment he asked me to come on board, it was a no-brainer. There were no thoughts. It was the right thing to do. So if there's some army or some United States military that's coming to take me away because of the things I've done, bring it. I am so ready. That's where I feel. That's where I'm at today. If I have done something wrong and I haven't done it the way everybody wants me to do it, then just come and shut me down, because I'm not giving up. I have the right to create a reality that is peaceful. I have the right to create a reality that is abundant for all people, that it includes everyone's divine abundance. We are talking about the divine natural rights of abundance for every living thing on earth, not me. Let's stop making it about me. I love you.
Yeah, so right now the big pharma started to see that all their program, all their vaccination program is not working, and the people started to know that it's just practically to harm the people and nothing else. So this is the first evidence that they started also in 2024 against the big pharma. Then the big pharma will go down, and this is hand in hand with this supposed mental health, invoking that the people are not healthy. And so we are just here, and probably this will be solved this year or maximum next year. I may not see any kind of a real freedom individual that understand what the freedom is. I cannot see that can come towards you to tell you that you have a mental disability. It's just the contrary. I may see only the people that have a very high level of the darkness, that they fear of the light, and they try to get out of the light in order do not get rid of themselves, because they are part of the darkness. So this is very, very different. I experienced that in the last years too. So and they provoke the situation, they provoke the situation, they keep you inside of the situation. And if you bring your voice a little bit higher, then you are crying. And if you are crying, then you have a mental health problem. No, this is not true. 2024, it is already known that the psychiatrist, psychologist, and also based on the psychoanalysis and who was the parent of the psychoanalysis, it was a high degree Freemason. So I mean, in 2024, if somebody is just coming and making the affirmation, then that the people that understand Gpms.world, they have a mental disability, we know who we are speaking, because the darkness, it's not yet get out completely. So they need to solve their darkness inside of them, or to get out from the planet. It's just simple like that, not invoking on the help people mental disability. Thank you so much. Yes, Rick. I believe that Rick, it's also with us back. He was disconnected. Okay, sir, yes.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. It was what I also need to say, why GPMS includes a lawful system is one of the reasonings for that, because the existing legal construct worldwide does not provision the public's interest. When you look at the pharmaceutical companies being granted impunity, that is partiality. It's not impartial, which means, um, uh, which in the least means that it's fair, and that there is someone that can be held accountable. So if you have a legal system that is recognized that grants impunity, it's an unbiased, unfair system, and it's not in the best interests of the people. So again, you're clearly seeing worldwide in the entire legal system that there is no provisions for humanity to achieve a righteous judgment and justice. So again, with Gpms.world, it is the absolute lawful system, and how it works, if you will, during our transitioning, our rapid transitioning towards it, because the lawful structure of GPMS with the core principle of do no harm, where it exists, what it also means on the energetic level, that all of those that have attempted to harm humanity cannot go forward, or if they do go forward, there has to be an accountability process that would provide redemption, for amends for everything that they did wrong. However, what I need to say that most of these that did wrong, they intentionally and knowingly did it. But also at the same time, it's not for ones to get distracted and focused on trying to obtain a judgment within the system, because you're wasting your time, because there are no provisions within the system to obtain a righteous judgment, of another. What you will receive, what you may receive, what you're already seeing, is some very insulting buyouts where, let's say one is disabled for life, receiving $1 million, where if they had not been disabled in the old system, it's possible they could have made 20 million or even $1 billion. So this is why anything less than $1 trillion payout is a direct insult to the individual as well. And so with these compensatory claims, it is evaluated by the system itself. But what I also need to extend this out further is that whereas money is created unlimitedly out of thin air, within their old legal system, it doesn't matter if everyone in the world had $1 trillion claim and got paid it. It would not matter if their system was still intact, because they can claw back the full value of it. So again, it's only a trick with it. So, how there's so many ways that I can say these things and present them, and even in logical ways. I'm not even adding in the abstract ways that the wrath of God works. But at this point, I will take the opportunity to add that in. And when I speak about the abstract justice with Gpms.world, we are creating a new world where no injustices can exist. So during our journey towards that, what occurs is that anything that is not genuine cannot make it to exist in that new world. And this is the wrath of God. And when you hear one saying, I leave it to God, I do not engage in any battle, this is also what they are talking about. So when you put your focus towards doing what is morally righteous and godlike, the rest, your enemies, are taken care of by the abstract force of the wrath of God. So you don't need to be distracted and dissuaded by the darkness. That is part of their trickery. What you do is you put your absolute full trust in yourself and your connection to God, and know that only those that are supposed to go forward do. But if you continue to procrastinate and energize any of the darkness, you prolong the ascension and the inevitable. So it's very important for ones to know that any that are trying to get a vengeance or a justice, these are not the ways of God. And this is more or less what beautiful sister in Australia was saying a bit ago. Don't be tricked and pulled into these battles that are not your own, because it's the trick of the battle that lowers your vibration and separates you from God. You need to employ the wisdom to be in alignment with the fullest absolute thing that frees you, but it needs to free all of humanity as well. This is why nothing else serves the people, and things like the BRICS cannot offer the solution, because the solution is already all inclusively here within Gpms.world. And it becomes, let's say, it becomes, well, it becomes illogical once you know that the ultimate solution is here, not to choose it. And it is the only way that you free yourself into an area where you never need to look for judgment, because there is no wrongdoing. But if you keep your sights, especially in America, where so many are tricked into these old things with the old constitution and in politics, it's actually hindering all of these souls from creating the new world. And as I said before, the US is so important. It has so many light workers, at least in there, but still there are these different levels of consciousness that are keeping them separated from their actual, genuine, liberated, and abundant world, because they think that within the old systems that the solution is there, but they are disillusioned. Yes, the consciousness levels are constantly rising every day as ones begin to incur more hardship, and that is, they are realizing, the more of the truth of what is actually going on upon the planet. And this divinely incentivizes them to take the action, to stand up and to morally do what is right. And it's at this point that they raise above the moral corruption that they were part of, but they didn't know they were morally corrupted. They were following a set of ethics that was given to them, and false morals. And, also one thing we look in the Bible with St. Paul, and I just forget with St. Peter what chapter it is. It was instituted into the Bible intentionally, and you'll see scholars say it, where they said that Peter said, obey your governments, pay your taxes. No, that was one part of the Bible that was manipulated. But the problem with this in the Christian religion, any pastors or ministers that is reciting this is what they are teaching the people. Obey the governments, pay your taxes. But this is the actual evil itself that is hindering the people and inflicting harm upon the people. So this is a very important incident that shows you, that how it was a concocted game, if you will, against humanity to maintain that control. That's only one example, but it's there. It's blatant for anyone to see if they wish to go and look at it. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rick. And also GPMS.org is healing the world. Once the Gpms.world is implemented, everybody that has a soul and wants to remain on the earth, on the planet, practically it's around the 5 dimension and higher. It's about healing, it's about peace and abundance and everything. So the model has inside everything that we need. It's not about mental health issue. It's not about the situation that we have today with the government and all the pressure from also part of the people understanding this is not moving forward. We will do not experience this in the future. This is for sure. This is just right now still present, but this is not going in the future. Yes, Emily.
I just want to say that, I did end up calling a couple of attorneys and asking them, if they could help me in any way claim my sovereignty from the state. And one of them did tell me, I hear you. If there's anything I can do to help you with your mission, I will let you know. Whatever you do, don't give up. And I've never heard back from them because, I stay altruistic about why I'm freaking here. And I'm not willing to play games and, be manipulated by these lower levels of consciousness. And it sometimes feels like I'm in a battle for my life and my freedom and what is true for me versus what everybody else thinks is true for me, because this is my divine self. And I'm going to hold my ground, man. And I absolutely told everybody, I was like, look, I even told the lawyer, I said, I know what they want. They want me. They want my energy. They want me to fight with them. That's going to make them happy because then they have Emily back. No, I don't consent. It's simple for me. This is metaphysics. This is physics. Now everybody's quantum entangled with Emily. Oh my God. It just makes me laugh sometimes because I don't know what else to do. That's my defense mechanism, is to just, I love everybody and I'm doing the best I can, to just hold my ground because I'm just over it. I'm so over it. Oh my gosh. I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to give you a solution. Can we all just please stop with this insanity? While they're projecting that I'm insane, I'm just sitting back like, okay, that's you. You're projecting yourself and I have to go on a different part. I have to realign myself. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for this space. It's been incredible to reconnect with everybody. It really has. I'm so grateful for everybody who is moving the Gpms.world forward. I'm so grateful that Rick was open enough to get the download, that's what we all needed to do. And thank God for the law of attraction and all of our supernatural innate ability to do what we came here to do. Love and light.
Thank you, Beatrice. Just before we close this down, I anticipate we'll have we changed the word from GPMS contributors to representatives, and that was Brothers Lee's divine inclination, which I totally agreed with. So we changed that. So we have the GPMS representatives group rather than the contributors, and it does make more sense. So having said this, we'll have, I believe, we haven't had one for perhaps a month now, a European representatives meeting sometime in the near future, perhaps next Sunday or the one afterwards. I generally entrust Lee's divine guidance on when to chair and when to hold that. And of course, if it is felt that there is enough let's say new information to put out, and if there is some questions, then yes, we'll hold a meeting. But as we said before, it is good to connect at least once in a while, but it's also good to do it in a beneficial way, that we have some information that we can purvey, or that if there is questions, that we can ask, that or answer that one may have, so that we can get it the answer to that question out to many more as we keep progressing forward. So I anticipate sometime in the near future we'll have one of those. And what I suggest with our North American meeting that Beatrice is hosting, yeah, if there's enough interest or reasoning, what I should say, to have it, then we will have it. Also, it's quite possible with the recent, I'm seeing more of a unity there, especially in Uganda, but also perhaps some other connected African countries. So having said that, it may be in the future, we may need to have another African representative meeting as well, to give our African brothers and sisters some support, some guiding tips if they require that, so that we keep things simplified in their unity process. Because again, so many are imprinted with the old ways of society of how to construct and organize a unity. And there's many of those things from the old that you don't need to do. They slow you down and they're hindrances. And you can keep it just very simple, and this expedites the process, if you will, of unity as well. But of course, again, we're dealing with the levels of consciousness. So it's when one's consciousness is open enough to realize that there must be at least a simpler way to do things. And it's when they are open to that, we're able to give it to ones more easier. So there is part of a conscious process with this. And when we look at our brothers and sisters in Africa, their experience, if you will, has been very deep and suppressed, as we know, and driven, right to the ground, if you will. But they are rising now. They could not go any lower than what they were enslaved and suppressed down to, meaning that we're now seeing many of the seeds germinating and the offshoots of green grass, if you will, coming, rising out of the ashes there, if I need to be a little bit metaphoric. So, not metaphoric, but nevertheless. So I just wanted to say those few things. And yes, we are progressing forward. There's always action with GPMS, even though it might not be seen so much out there in public yet. It is definitely occurring. The action that is occurring is absolutely concrete, meaning that it's carefully constructed, organized, taken forward with the highest degree of competence and in the best interest for all worldwide. And we utilize the utmost highest consciousness and discernment in our process. And we do our best to present to all levels of and layers of consciousness. And we understand all of these different levels. It's not to blame anyone, it's rather to uplift and support, because we know what all of the human souls are going through, a very rapid process. And with that, it takes nurturing and our guidance when one is open that to uplift them and show them got it all covered, and we are doing it. It is happening. And when you're ready to be a part of it, come in and support this so we get it done quicker. So we have the full solution. Everything is going to be fine for everyone. You just need to choose it and make it happen quicker. The more proactive you are as an individual towards the alignment with this, the quicker we get it done. And yes, there are many lives saved as a result of getting this done as soon as possible. So this is your most highest moral obligation unforeseen upon the planet, the moral obligation now where it is here the absolute choice to choose it and to do what is right, not only for yourself, but all of humanity. So with that, love, light, and gratitude to you all, and we'll speak soon.
So
Thank
thank
you,
you so much to everyone that participated today. Thank you so much to everyone that see the video and also to share. Thank you so much for sharing Gpms.world. Thank you. Have a great day.